Perfect. Okay, so there's a lot of amazing reasons to study at the University of Alberta. Um, some people really love rankings, some people don't love rankings. So, however this affects you, then I will let you take that in. We are a top 4 university in Canada, and we are top 100 in the world as well. If you want to see some more rankings about the U of A in general, maybe do a deeper dive on some other rankings, you can check those out online on our website at uab.ca/rank. So, some specific engineering facts. We have over 100 years of excellence. The first U of A engineering class started in 1908 with only 5 students, and then the faculty was later established in 1913. We have over 4,000 undergraduate students and some 1,500 plus graduate students, making us one of the largest engineering programs in North America. Some rankings for you. We are ranked 16 globally for mining and mineral engineering, number 4 in Canada for chemical engineering, and number 6 for electrical engineering. So we do have some top ranked programs in our faculty as well. So a few more reasons to choose engineering at the University of Alberta and why it's pretty exciting that you are in this pathway to come here. We do have a maximum accreditation for all programs from the Canadian Engineering Accreditation Board, and we are the only accredited petroleum engineering school in Canada. We're fully APEGA, the Association of Professional Engineers and Geoscientists, and Engineers Canada accredited. We have $7.3 million in student financial support annually. So lots of funding towards you and your schooling and your studies. We have very strong, long-standing ties to the industry. So for example, PCL and Stantec are both companies that are founded and run by U of A alumni. We have a world-renowned reputation for research, with $70 million in external funding every single year just for research. That's on top of all of the student financial support that's received annually as well for you as an engineering student. Our professors are some of the best in the world, and we have the oldest co-op program in Western Canada and one of the largest as well. So this is a good view of North Campus if you haven't been on North Campus. It's kind of a view from above, pretty cool. Our North Campus is 150 buildings and 50 city blocks, which all edge the river valley. It's kind of what we call our city within a city. It's surrounded by natural beauty and sits right in the heart of Edmonton. We have over 40,000 students that study on North Campus, where you have access to dozens of student supports, clubs, events, on-campus residence options, and you're super close to the city. So as part of your tuition, you get a transit pass, and you can get around the city pretty easily with that. Our average first year class size is around 58 students. We have 200 plus programs. And our North Campus does host some of the most advanced research, technology, and teaching facilities in the world. So lots going on in North Campus at all times, and lots to take in there. Okay, a little bit about residence if you are going to be staying in residence on campus. We have lots of options, and as a transfer student for you, you are going to be considered as part of our upper year housing. So you're going to be living in more dorm style, or not dorm style, more apartment style, studio style living. And it's a pretty great place to live. You're closer to campus for those early morning labs, maybe late night labs, maybe late night study sessions. Um, Maybe connecting with students. It's a lot easier when you live on campus. Lots of benefits still being on campus. The other thing that you have access to as a new to the U of A student is as long as you apply for residence before April 30th, you are guaranteed a spot on campus. So we will find you a place to live in upper year housing. So that can look like a studio apartment kind of style or up to a 4-bedroom apartment style. If you want to check out more of the residences and what they look like, do a tour, check out costs, all of that kind of stuff, you can check that out on the residence website, just linked on the page there. Okay, a little bit about our engineering facilities that you have access to as well. So on the screen here, you can see a picture of our Donadeo Innovation Center for Engineering, aka what we call DICE. So a lot of our buildings all over campus have an acronym name. You're going to get pretty used to acronyms pretty quickly when you come to the U of A. This building hosts our engineering student services, support centers, Everything that you need as a student essentially is in this building. It's located in our engineering quad on North Campus, and you'll get the one-on-one support that you need, help in transitioning into engineering, different options for help on campus, and different support services as well. We also have various other discipline-specific buildings. So we have a mechanical engineering building, a chemical and materials engineering building, and an electrical and computing engineering building as well. So lots of different buildings for you to find a cool study space, meet up with friends, go to classes, all of that kind of stuff. A few other engineering facilities we have include the machine shop, and we have the National Institute for Nanotechnology, which houses our Nano Lab. It's one of the largest in Canada. So if you want to take a tour, you can obviously come to campus and book a tour with us, and we will have some current students take you around campus, show you what it looks like. You can also do a self-guided tour. All of that is available at our website, uab.ca/tours. So check it out. You can also do a virtual tour on there as well. So if you just want to check out campus on your computer, it's a pretty good time. Okay, one of my favorite places to talk about in engineering, because I've had the greatest experiences in this cool spot. We have our Elko Engineering Garage. Pretty cool place. You can essentially, any project that you can think up, you probably have the tools to do it in this space. It's a 6,000 square foot workspace, has 3D printers, virtual reality welding, laser cutters, wood shop, tools, like literally everything that you could think of is there. Sewing machines, embroidery machines, lots of different things. It is located in our Engineering and Teaching and Learning Complex, or what we call ETLC, and you have access to it as a student. So all it takes is a little bit of training on the machinery and the tools that you would want to use. And then you have to book a time to go in and use it, but you have access to all of that. Usually you have to bring your own materials as well, although they do supply limited materials too. Okay, a little bit about our programs. So we do offer 9 fully accredited undergraduate programs. They have a traditional route, what we call, and a co-op route. Donna's going to go into a little bit about what those look like in a second. But essentially, once you transfer from your first year, you begin your studies in your engineering discipline, your engineering program, um, and yeah, you get to continue your journey in engineering and study things that you really, really want to study as part of your program as well. So now I'm going to pass it off to Donna, who's going to go over into a little bit more depth of what co-op looks like, admissions looks like, all of that kind of fun stuff.
Thanks, Danielle. I'm Donna McClellan. I'm one of 6 student advisors in the Student Services office. I'm just going to kind of cover the basics about how admission works, co-op, PAF, calculations, all that kind of fun stuff. So just to start off, as Danielle said, we have a whole variety of different engineering disciplines that you can get matched to. So there is sort of something for everyone. And then within all of these different disciplines, there's also the option to do co-op. And that adds an extra year onto your study time because in addition to all of the academics for those different programs, you're going to do 20 months of paid work experience. But yeah, there'll be a variety of ones that you can pick from. So you just need to do a little research and a little thought about which ones you're really interested in and which ones not so much. So I'll move on to transferring. So how do you transfer to the U of A from your transfer program? Um, so when we get your application, you're going to fill out the application form, submit it before the March 1st deadline, pay the application fee. It's going to come to our office. We're going to have a look at that application and your transcript. And there's going to be 2 things that we're going to look at first off. We need to make sure that you've successfully completed or passed 30 units of engineering coursework. That 30 units of course weight is not going to include Eng 100 or Eng 160. So that's like your intro engineering course, and the other one normally taught winter term is more that design course. So that 30 units excludes those 2 courses. We're just going to make sure, did you pass that 30 units? Great, you've met that requirement. The second requirement we're going to look at is your overall fall winter term GPA. The minimum that you need is a 2.3 for most programs. There are some exceptions. Some of the BC programs or Norquest, you're going to need a 2.5. So depending on your transfer agreement with us, either a 2.3 minimum GPA or a 2.5. If you've met those two requirements, then we're going to calculate a PAF. We'll talk about that a little bit later. What is that and how do we calculate it? But it's essentially a GPA to match you to a discipline. What else do we need? So to match to a discipline, so you've met those two requirements, the minimum GPA in the units, it is competitive to get matched to a discipline. So all of the students at the U of A and all of the students who are doing the transfer programs are all put together in one big kind of pot or one big qualifying cohort, if you will. And then we take all of those students and we match you to a discipline. So it is competitive to get matched to those disciplines. Um, what else do we want? Okay, so again, application deadline will be March 1st. Your document deadline will be June 15th. So that's your official transcript. We need to receive that before June 15th because we're going to need that to calculate your PAF. The other thing, I'll go to the next slide and I'll talk about matching to a discipline. So we need to do a PAF calculation to match you to a discipline. PAF is the program admission factor, which is really just a fancy way of saying GPA. It's the GPA that we're going to use to match you to a discipline. And like I said, it is competitive. Now, your first year, those 12 courses that you're taking, the base registration for those courses is 37 units of course weight. It doesn't count the Eng 100 or the Eng 160. So your PAF, we're doing a new calculation this year, but it will be based on your best 8 courses. So the Eng 100, Eng 160 is normally a pass-fail course, so they're taken out of the calculation. The 10 courses that you have left, we're going to look at them. We're going to pick out the courses, the 8 best courses out of those 10, calculate a GPA, and then use that GPA to match you to a discipline. So if you withdraw from one course or you get a grade of W, that those 2 grades could potentially come out of that PAF calculation, right? Because we're only going to pick the top 8. Now, what you need to be mindful of is that base registration is 37 units of course weight. If you decide to withdraw from a course or you don't register the full course load of 37 units of course weight, you will take a deduction to that PAF calculation. So for every unit you have registered less than 37 units, you'll take a 0.05 deduction. So as an example, if you dropped English 199, which is a 3-unit course, you would only have 34.5 units of course weight. So we would take 37, which is the base registration, minus that 2.5, or sorry, the 2.5, the 37 minus the 34.5 units of course weight. The difference is 2.5. And then you would multiply that by 0.05. So you would take a 0.13 deduction to your PAF. So if you drop the English course, instead of ranking you on a 3.0 GPA, you would get a light load deduction, which I think should be a 0.13 if I did math on the fly, right? So instead of getting a 3.0 PAF, you would get ranked on a 2.7. Sorry, 3. Yeah, 2.83. You get ranked on a 2.83. So just know if you withdraw from a course, the penalty is a light load deduction to that PAF calculation. The other thing that you will have to do as part of your application form is you're going to have to rank all of the different disciplines. So you need to kind of do your homework and figure out what disciplines you like, what disciplines you don't like. There will be a discipline program placement form that you have to fill out in Launchpad. It'll link you to it. rank from your favorite to your least favorite. Now, a lot of students always kind of want to know what's the minimum PAF for this discipline? What's the minimum PAF for that discipline? And, should you consider that when you're ranking? First off, there's a lot of things that'll affect what that minimum PAF or that minimum cutoff is going to be. It depends on the amount of space in the program. So some programs have less space than others, like EngPhys and Mechie Biomed tend to have less space than some of the larger programs like civil or mechanical, where they can accept more students. Less space often drives up what that GPA is going to be or that PAF is going to be. It also depends on how other students rank those disciplines. So about 10, 11 years ago, electrical engineering was the least popular discipline. Nobody wanted electrical. They ranked it always on the bottom. So the GPA needed for electrical was very low when I first started. It's done a complete 180 over the last few years. It seems to have gained in popularity. More students want that now, and it's driven up what that minimum PAF is because people are ranking it higher. And the only thing really that you can control is how well you do in your courses. So, just set up good study habits, do the best you can, get the best GPA possible, because that's really all you can control. You can't control how other people rank it, you can't control space in the program. When you go to rank your disciplines in that program selection form, rank by your heart, rank by your favorite. Don't overthink it, what you think the PAF, I won't have the right PAF. Rank with your favorite to your least favorite, because essentially what will happen is the associate dean's going to take your PAF, he's going to start with your top choice and keep moving down those choices until he can find a discipline that he can match you to. And I have seen students lose out on a discipline that they want because they ranked it lower thinking they wouldn't hit the minimum GPA, but they actually, in fact, would have had that as their top match had they ranked it as their top match. So rank by your heart, don't overthink it, and they will just work down your list to match you to something. And definitely the majority of students get one of their top three choices. So again, rank by your heart. And then what else do we want to talk about? So yeah, you have to, again, those two things that you're going to need to get in, the minimum GPA requirement, either the 2.3, the 2.5, you need to successfully complete 30 units of course weight. You can take up to 2 courses in the spring term to meet that requirement. And that requirement does not, again, include Eng 100 or Eng 160. An important note for students coming from transfer programs is the minimum grade, like D, is a sort of a passing grade for most schools. So we would take a grade of D towards that unit requirement. So you have to have 30 units successfully completed. If you got a grade of a D in that course, in one of your courses, it would count towards that unit total, but you will not get transfer credit for it. So in order to get transfer credit for your work, you have to have a minimum grade of C minus or higher. Um, see, yeah, I think that's everything off of this slide. So, yeah, co-op. Okay, so there's co-op and traditional options. Um, the co-op program is going to add on an extra year to your study. So normally when you come in from a transfer institution, as long as you pass those first year courses, you have 3 years left to complete in a traditional program. If you opt to go into co-op, you're going to do 4 years instead. There's pros and cons with co-op. The great thing about co-op is you get that 20 months of paid work experience. So when you leave us, you're going to have some references that you can use. You can have some engineering specific work experience. Also, you can do some networking while you're on the job. A lot of times co-op students will go back to former employers and get rehired through them. When you leave us, co-op students tend to have a higher placement rate right out of the gate because of that work experience. The other thing from sort of a career planning perspective is There are so many different opportunities available in all of the different disciplines. And by doing co-op, you can kind of test the waters in different areas or different fields. And that can sometimes help you decide where do you want to end up when you leave us and graduate? What type of work do you want to do by having some different experiences while you're in co-op? The downside to co-op is it is gonna delay your graduation. So you have to be prepared to extend your program out by that full year. And I think that's kind of covered it. And then I'll be sticking around, so if there's more questions at the end that are really specific, we can get into that.
Perfect. Thank you, Donna. That was amazing. Okay, we're going to dive through a few more things and then we will get to our question period. There are lots of different supports on campus. We know that school in general at the university level can be stressful, can be hard. So there are different things that we offer on campus, and engineering itself is a little bit more intensive than other programs at times. So things that we offer on campus are counseling and clinical services. We have a health center and pharmacy right on campus that you have access to as a student as well. And then our campus and community recreation offers a great way to get active, meet new people, get your mind off school a little bit, take a study break, and get involved. So lots of different areas there to support you. Another way that's a super fun side of support and a super great way to meet other students is our engineering student life. So our engineering student society hosts many, many events on campus, at many different areas for you to get involved. Quick things like just passing out hot chocolate, just having a movie night, maybe hosting like a pizza or a bake sale or something like that. And then there are other student groups as well where you can get even more hands-on in your engineering studies too. So some cool examples that I've picked out. We have our Formula Racing group, and they unveiled their first EV engine car designed in-house by students. So pretty cool way to get involved in hands-on. Mission Spacewalker is one of my favorite ones to highlight. They're a student group on campus that completes space-related research through parabolic flight, which simulates zero-gravity environments, and they promote diversity and inclusivity in STEM fields as well. Then we have our engineers in action. They design and build international pedestrian footbridges in Bolivia. And we have EcoCar. Students design and build an ultra-efficient hydrogen fuel cell powered car to compete in the annual Shell Eco Marathon. So these are just a few examples of what there is on campus for you to get involved in. Lots of different ways to get hands-on in your engineering experience throughout your degree, learn about different ways of sustainable design and manufacturing, and also educate community on what engineering looks like, and give back as well. So our Engineering Student Society does a lot of different things for students. So they have advocacy for students, like I said, host a lot of different community events, and then they also host professional development and networking events as well. So great ways to get involved, great ways to kind of boost your networking on campus as you're a student. Chat with industry professionals. Maybe you find a new area of engineering that you never thought of or never heard of, that you might want to get involved in your future as well. They also host a transfer student Discord every single year. So this is something that they send out to all of the partner institutions. Please reach out to your instructor, or the person who is the head of your transfer institution program. And they typically have the link to the Discord if they haven't shared it already. I know it's been sent out to most schools so far. If you have questions for current students, anything like that, to kind of check out maybe what a current transfer student is doing at the U of A, or a current student that was a transfer student, then you can email them too. They're more than happy to answer questions that way as well. Okay, I'm going to go through the application steps kind of quickly, so we have a lot more time for questions. But essentially for the application, you're going to start at uab.ca/apply if you have not started yet. And like Donna said, the deadline to apply is March 1st. Now, for you as a transfer applicant, the evaluation isn't going to be for quite a while, so just make sure you get your application in by that March 1st deadline. Okay, so how to apply? You're going to choose your campus. That's going to be North Campus. Don't choose Campus Saint-Jean. It's all in French. They also don't have a full-on engineering program. And don't choose Augustana Campus. That's an hour and a half away. They also don't have engineering. So choose North Campus in Edmonton. And then you're going to choose your program. Everybody here is going to choose Bachelor of Science in Engineering. It's not going to have your discipline on it right away. So that's where that form comes in a little bit later on. So you're just going to choose the general Bachelor of Science in Engineering, and then you're going to submit your application. They are open right now and they close on March 1st. So please make sure you get your application in within that time frame. Just quickly go over the requirements again. I know Don already went over these, but you do need the 5 required high school courses at the grade 12 level. Everybody should have them, as all of our transfer partner institutions require them as well. We have that minimum GPA, so the 2.3 or the 2.5, and then the application is to be completed by March 1st, and your program selection form is due by April 30th. It's typically released to you around the beginning of February, and you have some time to kind of fill out that form. But you'll get a notification through your Launchpad account when that is available to you as well. And then the document deadline is June 15th. So if your institution is within Alberta and all of your schooling is within Alberta, we're automatically going to pull those final transcripts for you. If you've done any schooling outside of Alberta, then you're going to have to request to get those sent to us by that deadline. Okay, so after you apply, the evaluation, like Donna mentioned, you're all put into a bucket to be evaluated for your discipline kind of at the same time. That kind of happens as well for your decision. So they are going to wait until they have that full year's worth of grades before they do their final eval, just because they need to see the 30 credits. They need to see the full year's GPA. There are things that you need to meet to get into the program. So they're going to wait until after that June deadline, and then they're going to give you your program selection and your admission offer all at once. So you're going to know what discipline you're entering into and if you get in. Some people stress that they haven't gotten a decision, even though they just applied. Um, you won't get a decision, unfortunately, right away. So you will have to wait. As long as you meet those minimums, you have a spot at the U of A. Your discipline placement is a thing that is competitive. So that's kind of going to be what's offered to you on your offer letter. Use your Launchpad account once you submit everything to check your status. So make sure all of your documents are submitted on time. And then that's also where you're going to accept your offer. Also, something to note is any student who requires maybe accommodation accessibility for the program as well, reach out to that office a little bit sooner rather than later. Once you have your application in, you can kind of chat with them about what documents may be required for your situation, but nothing will be able to be fully put in place until you have an offer and you've accepted your offer. But you can kind of see what they might need ahead of time. And then register for courses after you accept your offer as well. So we will host a registration session virtually, just like this one is, and kind of go over where to find all of your courses, how to kind of use the system, where to look, all of that kind of fun stuff. So you have a better idea of what that looks like after you get your offers as well. And the very last thing here before we jump into questions, so many ways to connect with us. Please, please, please ask questions before it's too late. We are more than happy to answer those questions that you may have. We offer advising sessions online, virtually through different software, but you can either book Faculty of Engineering advising or transfer student advising. It'll either be myself or one of my colleagues, and all of us are open to helping you, and all of us have the same knowledge base as well. You can also email us if you just want to chat with maybe a face you've already seen before. You can add my name in the email. My name is Danielle again. And just enginfo@ualberta.ca. I'm more than happy to answer those emails personally if you just want to chat with somebody you've already seen. And then all of this information that we've gone over today is on our website. So you can kind of dive into it a little bit deeper, maybe go over some information again, find new information that might be helpful to you. And you can check that out at the engineering website.